Good. All right, great. All right, great. So let's take a look at the proposal. All right, and I'm going to send you over a copy of this once we're all wrapped up. So, like we mentioned before, like we were talking about, we do have that production guarantee on the system. So we are guaranteeing to produce a certain amount of energy day in and day out. And if the system does fall under that guaranteed production, Infinity will financially reimburse you the difference, which is a huge differentiator of Infinity versus anyone else. In addition to that, we're guaranteeing any penetrations that we make onto the roof to be airtight and leak-free for 25 years. That's an industry best as well. Majority of companies and industry standard is typically around 10 years. So we're more than doubling that. Lastly, since we're only using the highest quality of equipment, we're also guaranteeing the equipment and the components for an additional 25 years. So everything really here is covered bumper to bumper for the full quarter century to make sure that you're getting the absolute best coverage possible. Any questions on that?
No, it makes sense.
All right, perfect. Now, like we were talking about before, the cost of solar or the cost of electricity is rising extremely quickly. Today, your average electric bill is $203. And as you can see here, your cost of power is going up pretty significantly here. All right, so what we want to do is we want to be able to lock in a significantly lower cost for electric and keep that as at the lowest point possible from here on out. Pretty neat view here, as you can kind of see some of the installs that we've done in the area. It's pretty zoomed up pretty far, but you can see we've pretty densely covered a lot of New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut and surrounding areas over here. So the system that we're looking to provide here is a total of 23 panels. If they're RECs, I'm going to mention that. If they're trainers or something else, I'm not. The total system size here is 9.85 kW. And really all that means to you is that the solar system is going to produce a total of 10,227 kilowatt hours per year. All right, with these super sleek, low profile black on black panels. So the system, like we mentioned before, is going to produce 102% of the power that you consumed. Last year, you consumed 10,000 kilowatt hours worth of electricity. System produced 10,227 kilowatt hours, which again is 102% of the power. So it's all the power you need plus an additional 2%. All right, as you can see, the power is going to change from the way that you're currently receiving it from coal over to sun. And on the numbers. So the total cost for the system here is $38,021. Now you're going to get all this money back in tax credits from the state and from the feds, a total of $16,406, leaving you with a net cost here of $21,615. Now we do offer this financing here for a total of 25 years. There's no early prepayment penalty. So if you guys come into money, hit the lottery, any of that, you know, any great thing like that, you could just pay the system off at any point with no early prepayment penalty. The system, since this is a solar loan, we're able to drive the financing cost all the way down to 3.49%, which as you can see is probably one of the best interest rates in the industry right now across any industry. So what that looks like to you on a monthly basis, your total cost that you're currently paying today for electric is $203 per month. Once you make the transition over to solar, your monthly bill will only be $29 from Orange and Rockland. Now, in place of your current $203 monthly payment, you'll have a monthly loan payment that's fixed, meaning it never goes up at only $136 per month. So in total, your bill is going to go from $203 to $165, saving you $38 per month. Okay. Any questions on how this is set up?
Makes sense.
Perfect. So the way that the loan is configured is this. The total amount for the loan here is $38,021. You're going to get $11,406 back on your federal income tax return. It's the federal side, and an additional $5,000 back from the state. So depending on what you want to do with this money is going to dictate what happens to your monthly payments. Okay. Now, all monthly payments start off at $136 a month. Now, if you decide to pay back only the federal side of the incentive, your monthly payment will stay at $136 a month. All right, for the rest of the term. Okay. So this first scenario would assume that you pocket the $5,000. The next scenario here is your monthly payment would start off again at $136. If you decide to pay back the $11,000 and the $5,000, your monthly payment will drop all the way down to $111. So this is one of the big differences of this tool. If I scroll up now, it represents $111. Right. So if you want to see what that looks like, right, your total bill would go all the way down to 140, saving you actually $38 a month. And lastly, if you decide to keep all the incentives, which is $16,406, your monthly payment would only go up to $195. So you'd actually be looking at a system here of 203 versus 224. Okay, any questions?
No, looks good.
Okay. All right.
We have about 18 months to decide what we want to do, right?
Exactly. So you have 18 months to decide what you want to do with the money, right? If you need to, and again, any of these options fall under the abilities of what you guys can do with the loan. There's no right or wrong answer.
Can we make a down payment on this?
You could, yeah. And yeah, there's no additional real benefit to that. What a lot of people do is, if you want to put extra money down, you can do it on that first reamortization period on month 18 and try to pay off as much of the additional loan as possible, right? Okay. Getting that number down. That makes sense. So as you're collecting all that money from the state and from the government and tax credits, you could try to drive down the net cost as far as possible, because once you reamortize a loan, you can reamortize it further down than $111 if you pay back more than these two together. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if you paid back $11,000 from the Fed, $5,000 from the state, and then additional $5,000 of your own money, the payment would probably be below $100 a month. Would be below $100 a month.
Okay.
All right, make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right, perfect. So the way we operate here is slightly different than most other outfits. What we do at this point is, if we're talking the same language here and everything looks good to you and you understand, and this is an appealing offering, the way that we operate here is, first, we're going to run a credit application and make sure that you financially qualify for this program. Once you're approved for the financing, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to come out, we're going to conduct a full on-site assessment. During that site assessment, we're going to inspect the roof, making sure that the roof is of good enough quality, right? And it's going to stand the test of time with the system. We're going to inspect your entire electrical system to make sure that everything is up to code and looks good. And we're going to measure all the trees in the surrounding area to make sure that the system will produce the amount of power that I'm telling you it will today. Okay. So once a site survey is done and all that information comes back to my engineering team, me and the engineers will sit down, we'll review all the numbers, make any necessary adjustments to the quote that we're looking at today. And then hopefully it's not anything, right? And then you and I will sit down in a 1 week's time. We'll review everything together. And at that point, we're going to dot the I's and cross the T's on that day. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Good.
Okay, any questions about any of that?
I just want to make sure that before we do that, I want to sit down also with the company our neighbor went with and review how different they are, right? Because you are the first we've sat down with, and so we want to compare company to company.
Without a doubt. And I think that's a smart thing to do here. From everything that I explained to you today, do you believe that Infinity is the best fit for you? From a quality standpoint, from a company standpoint, from a warranty standpoint, and a product standpoint?
Right. As far as you've told me, yes, but I just don't know what others can offer, right? You might give the best, but if I don't know, I just don't know. The next company might sit down and just offer me something completely different that fits me a little bit better. I just don't know that.
Without a doubt. When are you meeting with them?
Hopefully sometime this week.
Good. And if we're going down this path right now I'm going to prep you. So I'm not going to start pushing right now to try to push for the survey. I'm just not going to, right? If this guy's had his mindset that his neighbor went with another company and he's in talks with that other company, he's going to be sitting down with them in the next few days. I'm not going to force this guy into a site survey right now, right? At this stage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of prep him to ask the right questions that I'm going to win in against that other company. Yeah, no problem. Again, when you're shopping, just make sure of these things. Make sure that all the work is done in-house, that they don't subcontract anything, that they have a 25-year penetration warranty and a 25-year production warranty, that they're using RECs and Enphase IQ Plus, and make sure you're listing all the things that we do that a lot of other companies don't. And then I'll set a follow-up for the day after they meet with that person. Okay, but I'm not going to twist this guy's arm into setting this up and signing now if he's already going to speak to 2 or 3 other companies.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
With that being said, right, let's continue this for the recording here and say, no, I think this is a good fit. I think Infinity is a good fit. Great. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and pull up this app. Let's see. We're gonna go ahead and pull this up. And I'm just gonna fill in this information here. We'll go through it together, okay? Phone numbers. So you're filling out all the information with them, right? Now, project type, if it's solar only, it'll be solar. If it's solar and roofing or solar and batteries or solar and anything else, you want to make sure that you're selecting solar plus. This extends the maximum price per watt that you're allowed to sell. Solar only is typically capped at $6 per watt. Solar plus is typically capped around 12 or 13 bucks a watt, depending on what you're adding in here. So let's just say solar plus in this scenario. If you select solar plus, it's going to ask you to select the additional home improvement types. So let's say we're selling a roof with this person. You're just going to open up this drop down and you're going to select roofing.
What if we don't know until after the site survey?
Then you're just going to do solar only. We can always do this on the change order that we can switch this up to solar plus if we need to down the line. Make sense?
Yeah.
Then I'm going to put the project amount in here. So let's say the project amount is 40 G's. All right. The financing, you're going to select your program here that you set with them. Let's say it's a 25-year 349. That's what we're pitching. Total system size, let's say it's a 10 kW. All right, this is in kW, which is going to break it down here on a price per watt basis. If it exceeds the price per watt, typically it'll tell you here. You guys understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
So on this is individual annual income. So Alex, let's say this is you. Let's say you make 150K a year. And then Gab, this would be you, right? Let's say you make 150 as well. Now, the way that the dividend credit applications work is your income level here, right? This is for the primary borrower, this person, okay? Additional household income is anyone else in the house that is making money, okay? So you want to make sure that you're adding this because what this affects is something called DTI, your debt to income ratio, okay? The more income that you have, that lowers your DTI, which gives you a better chance of getting credit approved, right? If you have $50,000 of debt and you only make $50,000 a year, that's going to be a harder credit application to pass than someone that makes $300,000 a year that only has $50,000 of debt. That's debt to income, okay? So the higher these numbers, the better. Now, with that being said, if you get caught putting numbers in here that are not true, because the loans do audit this from time to time, well, they'll ask for a pay stub. If you can't prove that, it's an automatic fail. So just be very aware of that, right? So don't just say, okay, cool, this guy makes $14 million a year, because they're going to turn around and be like, really? Okay, cool, let me see a pay stub. And if you can't provide that, you know, just it's something to be aware of. But you always want to make sure that you're adding there, like the husband and the wife and the husband, or even if there's a working child in the house, you want to put that information in here that so we get better approvals. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Monthly mortgage payment. The monthly mortgage payment is the mortgage only. So typically when people are making payments, right, there's a combination of three things that are included in that payment. There's your mortgage, there's your insurance, right? And then there's your taxes. We don't care what the insurance and taxes are. We're looking for mortgage only. This does not need to be an exact number, just a ballpark. So let's say, you know, this, for example, we could take me. My mortgage is $4,000 a month, right? Of that, about probably 1,700 of that are taxes, give or take. Probably another 200 of that is insurance. So just ballparking here, my mortgage is $2,100 a month. Maybe it's $1,950, maybe it's $2,500. I have no idea, right? And the bank doesn't care, but you want to just be able to put in a ballpark area here. Make sense?
Yeah.
Don't get caught up here where people are, oh, I don't know. Let me find a mortgage statement. Let me try to, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal, right? It's just a ballpark. It could be within 5, 6, 7, 800. It could be in between $1,000. It doesn't really matter. This is not an auditable thing, okay? Primary residence. Or vacation or second home is what Dividend will finance. They do not finance rental properties. Okay, so primary residence is predominantly what we're going to be selecting. They only ask for the last 4 of your social security number and your date of birth. Okay, and then your email is going to go here. Authorize, submit. Okay, that's it. Once you submit, you'll get a email that looks like this. Okay.
Sweet.
Pretty simple. Usually you get that email, you get the email, and they get the email typically within 30 seconds. All right. Now, I'm going to pause this. Wonderful. So it looks like you're all approved, right? And typically it'll say you're approved for 100,000, 120,000, whatever the number is, right? So wonderful, you're approved. So what the next steps are here is, like I was mentioning before, we're going to conduct a full on-site assessment. They're going to come out, probably take about a half an hour. What we're going to do real quick is we're going to schedule that site assessment. We'll have you here on the phone. All right. Call into the number. Hey, Amanda, I have Alex here. Alex and Gab are looking to schedule a site survey for the earliest time. They're typically available in the early afternoons, right? What do we have on the board? She's gonna say, today's Tuesday. I have a Thursday at 3 p.m. How's Thursday at 3 p.m.? Does that work for you guys?
Yeah.
Yes? Perfect. Wonderful. Hang up the phone. Great. So we're all set to go Thursday at 3 p.m. All right. At this stage in the game, really what we're going to be doing is conducting that site assessment on a Thursday. Friday, I should get all the information back so we can meet and touch base on this either Friday evening or Saturday morning. What time works best for you?
Saturday, probably.
Saturday. Okay, what time? 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in here for Saturday at 10. Any other questions, just feel free to reach out to me in the interim, and then we'll review all that, go through the survey results, go through the updated proposal, and then take the next steps at that point. Does that sound good?
Are we gonna have to do anything for the site survey?
You do not. No, so they'll handle everything. They hop up on the roof, they'll take all the measurements, they'll take all the shading reports from the trees, check out the electrical, but someone will have to be home to let them in.
Okay,
Okay?
cool. And will they be inside our home at all?
Will they what?
So it'll be inside our home?
They will be, yeah. So they're gonna go, they're gonna check out the attic, right? Make sure that this house is structurally sound, check out the structural support. They're gonna check out the main service panel, take off the, check out the electrical, make sure that everything is good on the inside.
Cool.
Okay? We don't want any surprises on the day of install, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So now wrap up the call. Thank you so much for your time today, right? Hope you guys have a good day. We'll see you in a couple of days, and I'll talk to you Saturday at 10. Good?
Sweet.
Yep.
Now, next thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna go into your system. You're gonna go into your system here, right? This is the customer that we just pitched. This is the proposal. And I'm gonna go in and I'm going to sync, okay? Sync to Helios. The deal status now is pending, okay? Pending sale is when you have credit approved the person, but the person has not signed the agreement yet. A one-call close is if you sign the agreement before the site survey happens. A sold deal is when you have signed the agreement after the site survey happens, and this is a final sold deal. Any questions?
Why would you sign papers before the site survey happens if you need the site survey to still happen?
Everyone, so for the most part, everybody kind of operates on the pending sale and then going in and signing the deal. There's a couple reps, if you have that have been working here for a little while, that are extremely familiar with the ins and outs, and sometimes they're looking at these systems and they talk to a homeowner and the homeowner says, yeah, my roof is only 2 years old and there's no trees around the house, and it looks like the pre-sale design can fit 80 panels on it, but the guy only needs 20. There is an extremely low percentage chance of there being any issues with that system to demand a re-sign.
Right.
So in scenarios like that, some of the guys will just sign the deal.
Okay.
Okay, and you'll kind of figure that out with some experience when you're looking at, okay, this is a new construction house. It was built 3 years ago. The electrical is brand new, roofing is brand new. There's 0 trees because they've cleared all the land. So we know that the shading numbers are probably going to be correct. And we're not maxing out the roof planes. There's plenty of space on these roofs. So the chance of a re-sign there is extremely small. So they might just go ahead and sign the deal.
Okay.
All right. But for this scenario, we'll stick to a pending sale. Any notes that you're going to put here, let's say it's wants to max out roofs, has massive dog, be careful, and whatever else you want to be able to communicate with the with the office here. Okay. Once you're done with this, you're going to push to Helios. So I'm going to do that. This is going to launch into Helios, and everything that you inputted in here is going to sync. So panels, deal type, notes, right? All that stuff is going to sync into the system here. Pending sale, dividend finance, the panel type, the notes that you put in. If the customer doesn't want any panels on any specific roofs, that's not applicable here. You can see the treeness came over, the price per watt, panel count, total system cost, so on and so forth. If this all looks good, you're going to click save and close. All right, and that's it. Right? If you can't get them on the phone, you just do that. Right? If the site survey is after hours, you just dispo the deal. And that will drop into the site surveyor schedules queue first thing in the morning, and they'll reach out the next day to try to schedule it. Now, always try to reach out and get them on the phone, because they're not going to call 700 times a day. They'll call 2-3 times a day. They have other things that they're doing throughout the day, right? So you want to try to get them on the phone whenever possible to schedule the site survey. So it doesn't turn into this, we're calling for 6 days, 8 days. We need to get you back involved to try to get the homeowner back on the phone to schedule the site survey. Now 3 weeks passes and they forget about solar altogether.
Yeah.
All right. But that is the process on the back end, and how everything works with the lenders, with dispositioning the appointment. And then it's the same thing. Once you get the survey results back, we'll review that in a different training. Once you get the survey results back, though, you're going to update the system accordingly, and then sync to Helios, flip to sold. It's going to ask you a different set of questions, and all that pushes into our system. Okay.